Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 7 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from Richland, we have one Freddie Sosa back with us. Good morning, Freddie.
Morning. How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself? I don't know if you heard earlier, but is it like, did anybody ever call you Frederick or Fred?
Frederick when I'm in trouble.
Okay.
And Fred, very few people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figure like family members, mom, dads, or something call you Frederick, right?
No, it's mainly Little Freddie or Little.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually Little Freddie.
If you screw up, is it the full name?
Yeah.
Frederick
Roy Sosa Jr.
There you go. I get you. Yeah, my middle name's Patrick, and of course, my mother called me Michael. Right now, the only person alive that calls me Michael is my aunt and a friend of mine, but he does it because I think he does it to try to mess with me, but that's another reason altogether.
And it's funny when I go to visit my family in Midway and stuff. Everyone calls me Little Freddie or Little Roy.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
So I guess you just whoever. If you get something that remotely sounds like your name, you just turn
if it's
around
close enough. Most people just call me Sosa, honestly.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Probably at work and stuff too. It's more of a, like when I was in the military, everybody calls you by your last name.
Yeah, I wrestled when I was younger in high school and stuff. And
yeah,
so
sports is pretty common.
The last name kind of just stuck, and even when I page people at work, it's blank. Come see Sosa.
Although Sosa's, it's not uncommon, but it's a pretty common name. It's like there's a lot of other Sosas around.
Yeah, in this area there is.
Yeah, so that might not be enough information to get you to come there.
No.
Say Sosa and 3 or 4 people like, what do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
But you can yell Sosa out at Richland and they'll know exactly who you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
So, how's life in the car business right now? I know, of course, Richland with the Dodge dealership at the Y there, and the GM dealership. You guys cover almost every make and model out there, and I'm sure you probably. I'm just curious when you see that. Are certain brand names coming in more than others? Like, because you guys got Jeep, Dodge, Chevy, Chrysler, and then of course Chevy, the GM, and all those sides. So you kind of see a lot of different brands.
Yeah, the Chrysler.
I don't know if ones were showing up more than the others.
The Chrysler Dodge Jeep product is coming in a little bit faster.
Okay.
And more frequently. Excuse me. The GM stuff, we're still getting in 1 truck to maybe 2 trucks a week.
Okay.
But it could just be one thing off that truck.
Gotcha.
But on the Chevy side of it, that stuff when we put in orders gets picked up quite a bit faster than the GMC stuff.
Okay.
Which is interesting. But so that way when people come, because right now with the way inventory's been and stuff,
gotcha.
You got a whole lot of people just coming in, customizing and building their car.
Sure.
And we just let them know what it has the best chance of getting here the fastest, so that way they can make an educated decision themselves.
Which has really been the way of the world for the last year here as far as getting new vehicles. A lot of people are going and getting, it's like, hey, if I'm going to have to wait a little bit for a new vehicle, I might as well wait for one that's I picked. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's exactly the way you want it in a post.
Exactly.
Because a lot of the times when you walk into a dealership, it's and in years past, if you walked in and said, this is exactly what I want, we would go on the means to be able to find it and maybe trade for it. Sure. But those days have kind of ended. There's not a whole lot of people who are trading right now because inventory is so low. So coming in, customizing, building it exactly the way you want.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it's the first time they're ever getting exactly what they want.
And that's a cool feeling.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't care. Because especially like for me, I didn't own a new car, like my own new car, till 5-6 years ago. I was kind of from them. I always bought used or leased or something. And so but there's something to be said the first time you get a new car, brand new, and your butt grooves, the only butt grooves have been put in that chair and all that stuff. It's a cool thing to say, you know what, no one's ever driven this but me. It's my car. And then if you go one step further, which is kind of the preferred way now, right in this moment, is where you go online and say, no, I want leather seats instead of cloth seats. I want it in this color. I want these rims, but I want this chassis. You really get to pick every single aspect of the vehicle here that you want. And depending on, time and stuff, you're willing to wait a little bit, but how often in people's lives do you get that customized car that's I wanted this, and it came this, but I wanted to head and get the bigger engine for my needs, or I wanted the third row seats, or whatever it is. All of that stuff you get to pick, and so that vehicle, in essence, suits your needs perfectly instead of you having to compromise a little bit.
Yeah, and one of the things when you think about the lifespan of you owning a car, for people who order their car, when they come to trade that in 4, 5, 10 years later, those are usually the ones where the people take the best care of their car throughout their ownership.
Maintenance records are more meticulous.
Yeah, I mean, and just they've treated it a little bit better because it's something that they physically decided that this is what I'm going to get. This is how I built it. And so for us, we get kind of excited when someone comes in and orders a car. I mean, we're in the car business. We're in the business of right now. But if we don't have what they're looking for, we get excited because later on down the line, when it's time to trade that in, it's so much nicer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting a better vehicle that will provide another home for somebody down the road here. And so really, so don't get discouraged, right? Because if you're seeing all that and we're all living in the same world. We all know what's going on in supply and demand, and there's nothing that's just easily accessible in this world at the moment. But don't let that discourage you from saying, no, I can still get a new vehicle. Great. And like you said, we were talking earlier, each week there's trucks coming in, on both sides, the GM side, the Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep side. There's still new vehicles coming. So if you just want to come in, look around and say, hey, new pickup comes in or something like that. But really utilize this way. That way you can, especially like I'm thinking you're farm and ranching people that maybe they don't want some of the fancier amenities on their vehicle, but they're going to want more of the rugged, you know what I mean? So they can build a truck that's, all right, look, I don't need power this and power that, but it's got to get me through my ranch. It's got to get me through so you can kind of build it more custom that way.
Yeah. And it's those like a work truck, something with rubber floors and stuff like that. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not the easiest stuff to have in stock.
Sure. Now you can customize all that.
Yeah.
Or if you want a little bit of both, you're like, no. If I want a work truck that's got, the rubber mats and all that stuff, but I want a work truck that's got a sound system, or I want a work truck that's, that's got the heated seats and the air conditioned seats or whatever it is. And so you can compromise if you want or pick and choose where you want your luxuries, where, if you're thinking,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't need the heated cup holder or whatever it is. I'm never drinking it fast enough to get cold, or whatever it is. So I don't need that. But, what would be handy is my wife's going through menopause and that cooling seat really works out nice, Which, by the way, I've had a mother-in-law say that the cooling seat's the best thing for that time, ladies. Just telling you, just coming from experience there. Good deal. But let's talk service department and everything too, because I imagine your service departments have been busy here lately with because more people are holding on to cars, more people, so they're taking care of them more. I imagine the service departments are seeing a lot of work right now.
Well, and right now with the fuel prices going up like they kind of have recently, just like what happened in 2008 when
it was up $4 a gallon again.
When something very similar happened, you have one or two things: people who want to upgrade, or people who are trying to maintain what they currently have.
Sure.
And that's what we're seeing a big influx of, is just people who are just trying to maintain what it is that they have. Mm-hmm. And so our service department in that instinct is really some of the busiest they've been in a long time.
Sure.
Because we got lots of that. We got lots of people coming in, oil field people from out of town who are using our service department to do their regular scheduled maintenance, just because places like Hobbs and Carlsbad are just so busy.
They can't keep up.
Yeah, and we have fleet customers coming all the way from Midland, Odessa for service work. I mean, just because of how soon we can get people in, and opposed to some of the other places.
That's a reputation thing. They probably know, we need a quick turnaround. We know, hey, I know the Richland guys in southeast New Mexico, they got it covered. So let's get our stuff over there. So, yeah, okay. Well, again, that's reputation and volume. So, if you're looking for your vehicle and you trust the people that a lot of out-of-town folks and major companies around here trust to work on their vehicles, and that's you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And these people, what happen is because inventory is so scarce, they end up buying from outside of their local community, and that's where we're getting honestly quite a bit of stuff from people from out of state or just the surrounding communities where they can't find that type of stuff. And so that's in turn is helping us with our service work, because word of mouth is the best advertising.
Hey, where'd you
possibly
find
get.
that? Richland. The Richland boys had it. Yeah, exactly. So and we're lucky. We got you guys right here in our backyard. So if you're needing these kind of things, talk to Richland. Come on, bring your vehicle by, and what about the used inventory right now? Is it going off the lot as quick as it comes in? Obviously, you're still folks are looking to trade in vehicles. This is a good time of the year. They're still offering top values but as far as people looking to buy pre-owned, is there a stable of them on the lot right now, or are they going as quick like the new ones?
They are going pretty quick. And Brandon Johnson, he's our used car manager, and he's done a real good job in making sure that the type of inventory we have is the type of inventory that turns really fast.
Gotcha.
Because
the more popular things people are wanting.
Yeah, because it's something that all the data says that this is something that the consumer is looking for and looking for pretty quickly. And so he's done a really good job at both locations, making sure we have the right used car inventory. So that way, if what you're looking for in new isn't quite there, there's a good chance we have it there in used.
Gotcha. Let me ask, we here in Southeast New Mexico, the truck is king. People, most people want trucks or large SUVs. That's kind of the more popular things in this part of the country. But with gas prices in the world that we're living in now, are you seeing a little bit change in direction on what people are looking for? I mean, I'm sure you're always going to have high demand for trucks and things, but is there been a bigger market for some of the more fuel-efficient, smaller vehicles that the Richland, between Dodge and GM on those sides that they carry?
Well, we have that type of inventory, that small SUV stuff with good fuel economy. But what you're seeing is the stuff like the 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder trucks, half-ton trucks.
Okay.
That's become real popular.
Gotcha.
Good fuel economy and still being able to have a truck bed and a full-size truck.
They want the power and torque and all the ability to haul and pull, but they don't want to pay $300 to fill up their tank.
Exactly. And so that truck right there has become so much more value. The trucks with a 3-liter diesel engine, that stuff has become so much more valuable because people can get the fuel economy that they kind of hope for, but still get the utility that they need in a full-size truck. So those two trucks have been really some of our best sellers right now.
Well, and that to me, that's great technology, because that's the tech. I mean, look, I get, people want to do the electric and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's all well and good. And I understand we want a cleaner world and sure, all of those things. But until you can get the same results out of electric that you can with a gas engine, where you can have, and we're getting closer to that.
Yeah.
But, we're now seeing these pickups that now can get 400 miles to a charge that don't lose the torque or the towing. And, whether it's a hybrid model or more electric or whatever it is, the technology really is starting to be there now. I don't think we're quite there with electric yet where it's on its own, but we're getting to a point where they're catching up, and you're thinking, you know what, maybe, because I think at the end of the day, most of us want a better planet and green and all that, but I don't think that's the main reason people switch. At the end of the day, it's people's pocket.
Yeah, it's their pocketbook.
Yeah, and when $4 and change gas right now is going on, that's going to expedite the engineers and stuff to probably figure out, hey, how do we make a Ram 1500 that has all the torque, all the power, gets 450 miles to the tank, and oh, by the way, it's electric. You know what I mean? Till we get there, we're closer. But until they can put those kind of numbers, I don't think it's going to sell like the big numbers that we think it will.
Well, and one of the things we got to realize, and we've noticed in the car business for years, is Roswell's a little bit behind when it comes to what's happening outside. So even though fuel prices have gone up, people don't necessarily panic as much in this area because we're rich in agriculture and all this stuff, where that stuff is still making money while everything
it's a double-edged
else,
sword for our area a little
while
bit,
everything else is slow. And so Yes, we're going to be able to help people with that are looking to downsize and stuff like that. But for the vast majority of what's happening in our community, people are still needing a truck, needing all this stuff. And just because gas is $4 a gallon doesn't necessarily change their mindset of what they have to accomplish each day.
They still got to get the haul to wherever it is.
Exactly.
Or they still got to tend to the ranch or whatever. And that's the cost of doing business for them.
Exactly. It's exactly what you said. It's the cost of doing business.
Sure.
So.
But so where they make up on the other end is buying a vehicle that will last as long as they need it to. And obviously when we talk farm and ranch, and they probably beat up a truck a little bit harder than the average person that just drives up and down the street every day, And so they're going to be like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to pay more for that upgrade to the Ram here, but you know what? That money's going to make its money back on the back end, because now instead of in 4 years getting rid of this truck, I can now bring it 6 or 7 years because it's built that much better, And so they see that value and see it, and they'll go that way with it. It's where I'm spending more money, but the old saying, you get what you pay for, and that's true in every industry. It is, including the car industry. I mean, you can find deals and things, but let's face it, if you spend $10,000 on a car that's brand new versus, say, $60,000 on a car that's brand new, odds are pretty good that $60,000 car is going to be better built, last longer, better parts and things than that $10,000 car.
Exactly. Well, and that's what we try to explain to people is this is kind of investment. And so especially when it comes to new cars, people get so used to, just like what you said with yourself. Yeah. I bought used cars or lease for so long. I mean, now you can buy it and extend how long you have it. And,
sure.
And
well, they always say the old sayings like that you pay the sticker price and all that. But okay, that's an argument. But if you're also customizing it, you're paying for what you wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly what you wanted. You didn't compromise on anything because you picked everything, and that's why this is so much different and better that way. And because I imagine you even get, especially in the Jeep world, you could probably get more customization, like names put on things and, stuff like that. I've heard that kind of stuff they can customize too,
and with
like dashboards and stuff.
And on the Jeep side, they do these special editions that you can only get for so amount of time when you order them, which is cool. And so there's all these more trim levels than there's ever been on the Jeep Wranglers. Yeah. And, now they have 3 different engines, which is, for the longest time, it was just the 3.6 liter Pentastar, and now they have a diesel engine and a electric hybrid.
That's crazy. That's cool. So, I love that. And that's great. I'm a Jeep guy. You'll never.
Yeah.
That's my soft spot. But I love that, and I love that aspect. So, and I'll tell you this too. This is the thing, and this is my personal experience. I own a car through Richland, but dealt with Richland, and I'll say, and every time I go in there, your folks are always nice, very knowledgeable. It's always been a fun professional experience, and professional but still personal, if you know what I mean. Like, you can still go in there and just kick back and talk about the day and be humans, and then you get a great service and product and everything. I've never had a bad experience dealing with any of your staff or any of your folks. They're all great, knowledgeable people that work hard, and so I can attest to the customer experience.
Well, and that's what we kind of encourage out of them is we don't. When you say the word salesman, people automatically think the worst. But what we try to get these guys accustomed to is being people's car guys. I mean, if you have questions about your Jeep, you've always just asked, "Hey, what do you think about me getting this grill guard or this?"
Sure.
And that's something that a car guy can help you with.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a salesman, because a salesman, once you buy the car, may not necessarily be around after, okay?
Yeah.
But we're always around after. We encourage people after they buy the car, come back in and let's answer more questions that you have, because these things are so technical anyway. I mean, there's no way you can figure everything out in one visit. So we encourage people come back. My sales guys are actually scheduling the first follow-up visit a few weeks after that. So that way the customer can come back in and any questions they have that they can answer and show them how to use it again.
Yeah, absolutely too. And I also say this, and this is like an experience. I've had this both on the sales and the service department side, where they're also users of the product and champions of the product. So So like when you're talking vehicles with the sales folks, that they're like, well, my vehicle I can do that. They all own and ride these vehicles and know, so they kind of have their preferences too. And same on the service department side. Like I went and got a battery a couple weeks ago, and the guy's like, "Oh, this is the one I put in mine. This is the better one." And then he explained to me why he likes this one versus the other ones. And so to me that was valuable information and things. I'm like, well, these guys have it in their own vehicles and their own stuff, which they wouldn't put it in their stuff if they wouldn't believe in it. So to me, that's a selling point. I'm thinking these folks are willing to use it for their own lives and their own personal needs and are loving it. That's a testimony that you really can't express without it just being true. You know what I mean? It's so for them to not only tell me what they recommend, but do it because they too use the same product. That speaks a lot to me as a customer. So I do appreciate that kind of thing when they go in there like, oh yeah, this is the battery I have in my car, and it's great because of this, and this. And I'm like, thank you. That's now it makes me feel better why I'm making this purchase.
What I'd like to see is the guys, all of them own product that we sell, like you said, but when we don't have what the customer's looking for and one of us drive what they're looking for, it's constantly just throw our personal keys. Hey, we'll go drive this. And,
give it a try.
You know what I'm saying? So that way you can get a better idea. There's so many times where I'm at the Chevy store and people come in and I'm like, hey, well, Joe, if you're thinking about a Jeep later, go drive this one and tell me what you think. And they're driving mine.
Yeah.
Or Brandon drives a TRX, and when people come in and they're talking about it, well, here, go check this out. So that way you can, and because we have this stuff, because we're advocates for everything that we sell, we're just constantly here, try it.
Yeah.
I mean, because we have it. I mean,
well, and it probably makes your staff easier to do their job because now they're speaking from experience, and rather, because let's face it, I'm sure there's a lot of tech data they got to study when they're reading. All right, let's look up the specs on a Ford, whatever, and they start going through all the stuff. But if you own it and you're using it, and it's not you going, well, I hear you can really do this. They're like, no, my favorite part. There's a passion behind their sale. There's a passion because they know the product that much more, and they know firsthand what it can do, as opposed to a knowledgeable person that's just read a bunch of books. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It's a huge difference because then it's personal instead of just buying a car.
Yeah.
No one, I mean, when we talk to people and survey our customers, no one says that they like coming in and buying a car.
Right.
They don't like the hassle of the negotiation, but we change that process to be so much different. I've talked to you about it before. Our sales staff is separated into teams. So instead of one salesman constantly helping you when you buy a car, you have two other people asking and helping, making the process go faster, making the process go easier. And then you have three total people and more, because everyone helps each other, that are being able to tell you their personal experiences with what it is that they're trying to do. So.
Absolutely. And then like you said, you have the for the financial side, when it comes to making the numbers work, you have a team of people that help. Freddie being one of those big, he's for folks that don't know, I think you're I don't know if it's official or unofficial. They always know you as the numbers guy. Like Freddie's the guy that is really good at trying to, make the numbers work for people here. And so, and I know your staff goes above and beyond to, for people like saying, hey, I'm right here. Help me, make the numbers work. You guys can do that. Getting the right financing numbers or reaching out to the right people to make sure you're happy on that side of things.
Well,
too.
And even if it's not the right time, last night we had a young couple come in that was in a couple months ago, and they had a few issues, but we explained to them what it is that they needed to do, and then to come back once they accomplished those few things.
Yeah.
And so the difference between them buying a car 2 months ago and the difference from them buying a car today was 10% in interest, $200 in payment, just because we were able to, yes, they wanted a car right then.
Sure.
But the smartest thing for them to do was to clean up a couple things, come back and see us.
Sure.
And then today or tomorrow, they're buying exactly what they wanted instead of settling.
Yeah.
And it's a way better purchase for them instead of buying that.
And at the end of the day, their probably finances are in better shape now because they, now that they can, rather than try to swing it they actually set themselves up to actually afford it and thrive on it.
Yeah, and put themselves in a way better position.
Yeah.
And so, our goal is to sell a car every single day, but there's some instances where we're just helping you to be able to get to a point where it's a way better purchase experience. And then those are the customers that we have for life, because
They come back time and time again.
They choose to come back with us just because of the first experience that we gave them.
Yeah, and you guys realize, like, okay, we didn't upsell them on a car that they really couldn't afford. We got them in something that's right for them. And now, guess what? When this car has meet its needs and they're ready to get another one, they're going to come right back to us instead of going, man, they ripped me off on that last car, I'm going to the other guy next time. You know what I mean? That's the difference.
And for us, that's when we know when we won. When someone comes up to us and says, hey, this is the reason I constantly come back, or this is the reason I'm going to come back to you because of what. And that's just what we hope to do every single time. Now, do we accomplish it every single time? No, but we do our best to try to do it.
Sure, absolutely. And you guys go above and beyond in every department, sales, service, whatever it is. You just, at the end of the day, want people to ride for the brand, be a champion for Richland, and that's why Richland is also so much involved in community events and things. That's why you see, like, when you go to golf tournaments, things like that, or various charity events around town, you see a big Richland banner, as a sponsor of all that. That's all part of this. That's all part of that community thing. So it's being part of that fabric. So they're not just trying to sell everybody cars here and everything. The staff, everybody, they're part of this community. And so I know that's something that Richland since day one have always been involved in community stuff. So, and that's another thing too. When you're going to buy for Richland stuff, you're investing back in our community.
We just understand where we make our living from, and so we have to take care of that portion of it.
Yeah.
I mean, our community is what helped us get to the point where we're out today, and we constantly are just trying to make sure we're doing the right job to keep continually doing that.
Absolutely. So when you buy with confidence, knowing you're getting the best service, the best value for what you're looking for, and at the same time you're reinvesting in our community. So. That's a lot of stuff where you just coming and kicking the tires on a few vehicles over at Richland right now.
Yeah.
So, but come check it out. Is there any incentive specials right now? We want to. I know it's a world where they don't have to, so they don't necessarily right now. But I didn't know if there was anything out there for
right
people.
now. The big thing that we have going on is there's some 0% interest for 36 months on most of the half-ton truck inventory. So all that 1,500 inventory should be at 0% for 36 months. Rebates are light, but luckily we have a little bit of inventory sitting on the lot now, so that way you can come in and have a few different options, in opposed to only seeing one or two trucks there. Now we got about 10 for you to come in and look at.
Good deal.
They're going pretty fast, but luckily we have one or two truck coming in a week to help us constantly turn that stuff.
I'm curious right now, and we're running short on time, but we always tell people, look online, shop online and things, but the way supply and demand is right now, is it actually a little faster to visit the dealership in person, or are they getting up online as fast as they're coming in? I didn't know.
Yeah, you're welcome to get online, but some of this stuff is sold so fast
that it's probably more reliable to come down to the dealership.
Yeah, and for the first time, you've heard this a long time in the car business. Well, if you don't buy it today, it may not be here tomorrow. Well,
we're not lying this time.
This is the first time.
It's not a ploy. We're like legit. They're saying that.
This is where it's actually the truth. Now. I mean, because you can come in the morning and that vehicle may not be there at night, and it's you've always heard it from car dealers, but for the first time, there's a lot of truth behind it right now.
Yeah, there's way more demand than supply right now, and so cars are going as quick as they're showing up here, and that's just the way of the world, and that's everywhere you go. So, but. Be on the, but if you're on the lookout too, that's another thing. Maybe you're thinking, maybe reach out to Richland and say, look, I'm one of these, maybe I don't want to customize one, but like you said, you get people all the time and say, hey, if you got a half ton coming in, let me know when it comes in so I can come and take a look at it, kind of thing. I'm sure you got a list of people right now doing that kind of stuff.
We have a big list that everyone can see, showing all the stuff that's already accounted for.
Yeah.
So that way, and people are buying this stuff, making sure they're putting deposits, making sure that it's theirs when it comes in, because they don't want to miss it when it comes in. And then they're showing up the day it hits the lot, because they know how fast it'll sell if they don't get in there quick.
It's kind of like a Christmas-like atmosphere for those folks when those come in, I'm sure. It's like, ooh, the new car's here. Let's go get it.
Oh, exactly. Now it's every every purchase is a real big experience because there's anticipation now.
Yeah.
It is just like Christmas. They've been waiting 2 or 3, 4 months for this car. So
Salivating a little bit.
yeah.
Good deal. So come on down to Richland. Like I said, if you're looking for your Dodge, GM, Chrysler products, visit the Richland store at the Y here, South Main and Southeast Main split there. And, of course, you're looking for General Motors products. And of course, if you're pre-owned, visit either one. But you can visit the Richland GM store here on West 2nd as you're heading out of town.
And we're still buying used inventory. So if there's something that you just feel you don't need, bring it down. Let's look at it. We may be able to purchase it from you right then and there.
Absolutely. And if you need any kind of service, anything from tires and batteries to more tune-ups and more heavier work, the service department at both Richland stores here in town got you covered. So,
Yes, sir.
awesome. Did we get it all, Freddie?
Think so.
Good deal. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate the visit. And thanks for, we had a runaround for a month there where we kept picking wrong dates.
Yeah.
I was getting everything else, but that was my fault.
No, don't worry at it. We're back at it. So I'll be back soon.
Good deal. Thank you, sir. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Appreciate you.
All right.